It is extremely important that you understand what is about to happen in 2026. Today, the feds will inject 7 billion into the market. But I want to teach you what is going to happen in 2026. I want you to write this down. Reaganomics on steroids. If you don't understand how to navigate the next 3 years, I'm here to tell you that the middle class and the working class is going to end up in a debt crisis like we've never seen before. Now, of course, this is my opinion, my research. I took my family from completely losing everything in 2020 to studying this and devoting my life to this. I was in the banking system for 10 years, me and my CFO combined 22 years. We saw that there was a massive flaw with the system. All we did in banking, we didn't financially educate people. We buried people in debt. We kept them in a debt-based cycle. We took their income, which is actual debt, and we took it and lent it to the next person in, which is a Ponzi scheme. And if you don't understand how the debt system works, that somebody is either paying it or someone's earning it, and that every single ounce of your income is someone else's debt, you'll never get out of the trap. I want you to picture this. Imagine yourself in a hole as soon as you become an adult. And in that hole, you have a backpack on. Please pay attention all the way through. This will change your life, I promise you, financially. I'm going to share with you exactly how I'm doing it. Not financial advice, but I'm going to be authentic with you guys on how I did it. You have a backpack on, and that backpack has debt in it. And they encourage you to go to school, get a job, go get your first auto loan, get a good credit score. So you go get an auto loan after getting a student loan after graduating of $100,000, and you get a $40,000 job. You can barely pay back the loan. You go get an auto loan because that's what your parents told you to get a good credit score. Now you have an auto loan, you have a student loan, and then you got to get a credit card. Make sure you get your credit good. So now you have your credit card that's at 23%. You have an auto loan at 72 months. So you bought a $40,000 car and you make $40,000 a year. But because you can extend it out over 72 months, you could afford the payment. Now you have a student loan, an auto loan, and a credit card. Now you're working your ass off trying to pay the student loan and the credit card. Now you have an apartment that you can barely afford because the cost of living is so high, and you really want some relief. So you decide to go on a vacation and you put your vacation on the credit card because it's 0%. The fact is most people don't pay off the 0%, and now you never pay off the credit card. Now you have a credit card, you have an auto loan, and you have a student loan, and you're still making $40,000 a year. And the other caveat is that dollar that you get paid in is losing value every single year. So your parents tell you, oh, stuff your money into a 401k. Just make sure you invest $150. All these people are saying, well, if you put in $150 and you do it for the next 40 years, you're going to have $1.5 million. $1 million at 4% interest is $40,000 in retirement income. This is not our grandparents and our parents' economy. We have to wake up. We got to stop listening to old advice. You have to start compounding money now. Let me say that again. $1 million at 4% is $40,000 in retirement income. And here's the caveat. Inflation is not 3%. Financial advisor's proud of making you 6 to 8% on your investments, but you're not even treading water. You have your money in a 401k. This is for the baby boomers. You're about to retire with $1.4 million. You're going to get taxed on that $1.4 million. And at 2 to 3% over the last 35 years, your dollar has lost half of its value. So now you're going to take income, be taxed on it. That income is going to lose value every single year, and specifically over the next 3 years because Reaganomics on steroids. So we've made it this far. Congratulations. You're a true warrior. So how do we beat this? Take all investments out of your head real quick. I want you to understand inflation. So if you have a 6% debt, you have a 3% inflation, which is way more than that. You have a 9% hurdle rate. So if you don't have investments that are not beating 9%, your dollar is becoming worth less and worth less. It's not that things are getting more expensive. It's that your dollar is losing value. That's where 2026, 2027, 2028 come into play. And this is how I became rich, not wealthy yet. Rich and wealthy are very different. I became financially free, passive income. I have assets that pay me income, businesses that pay me income. Take my income because it's debt and I put it into assets, that beat inflation. Get into that later. So 2026, 2027, 2028, we're going to have Reaganomics on steroids, which is going to appear that the middle class is going to be wealthier because we're going to buy more stuff. Interest rates are going to come down. They already turned the printing machine on full blast. They're going to bring interest rates as low as possible, which allows middle class and working class to do what? I taught you, to monetize more debt. When you monetize more debt, the more money's flowing into the system and the value of the dollar is coming down. When interest rates come down, assets go up. So the wealthy get way wealthier. The working class get buried deeper into that hole I told you about. Because you're in the hole, you're putting more rocks in your backpack because you're able to monetize more debt, which makes you feel wealthier because your interest rate's lower. Feel like you have more money, so you buy more stuff, which makes the wealthy wealthier. And on top of that, they're pouring dirt on top of the hole, which is inflation. So now your dollar is becoming worth less because they lowered interest rates. The wealthy are moving our money into assets that have fixed supply, that grow over time, and we use leverage to buy when the markets come collapsing down, because markets always cycle. So your job is not to pick the next best crypto or believe these hype bros and all these price predictions. Your job is to figure out how inflation works and how to beat it. So here's how I do it. I invented Capel DR. It is going to change the way people look at finances, and it's going to revolutionize, I promise you. I will stand on this. It's going to revolutionize financial literacy for the next 30 to 40 years and beyond. Capel DR is a system that I created that beats any economic cycle because you can plug any asset into the system based on the economic cycle. We're going into Reaganomics on steroid. Deregulation, low interest rates, printing of money, extremely overvalued capital markets. But remember, there's always an inverse of that. If you're on the right side of this, you can get extremely wealthy during this time. But you have to flow with the cycle. So C is cash flow. Cash is trash. I take my income, which is your debt. My income is your debt. There's no real money in the system. There's 120% debt to income ratio. There's no real money. It's all interest. So when I get paid from my active income, my first thing I do, first 10% goes to create a brother or sister, richest man in Babylon. I buy cash generating dividends. So I take my income from my active businesses, multiple companies in information technology, attention, and financial services. Took me years to build these, 8 years. So I take my income, and the first thing I do is invest. Americans spend, then save. I invest, and then I spend. My first 10% goes into dividends that pay me more money. Those are passive. And I have income from my active income businesses. I have income from my cash generating dividends. I take the income and I put it into A, assets. I pick assets that have fixed supply that beat inflation. As your US dollar loses value, my assets gain value. My top assets are XRP, Bitcoin, WLFI, Solana, HBAR, XLM, and VeChain. That's my top 7 in crypto. My top 2 stocks are ABTC, American Bitcoin, and XXI. Those are my main assets. Can't FUD me in, you can't FUD me out. When those assets go up, A, I pull profits. We're gonna move Bitcoin into L in Capel DR. I put it into protection, cash value life insurance. The first insurance came in the Roman days, annuities. Insurance is at the bottom of the risk pyramid. If insurance companies collapse, you got a lot more to worry about. It's a zombie apocalypse. Insurance companies are the foundation of the whole financial system. I use cash value life insurance. We structure them properly and we fund them properly. You need cash in them for them to work. That's why it gets a bad rap. You need to fund it properly. It's a insurance policy, not a retirement policy. There's cost of insurance. You get permanent life insurance. I actually get to insure my profits, my principal. When markets come collapsing down, my principal is guaranteed. Nobody can touch my insurance. And L, leverage. I can leverage at no liquidation risk when the markets come collapsing down. And when the markets come collapsing down red, I borrow at low interest rate from the insurance company. My cash value is still intact at 5%. And then I go buy the fear when everybody's running, Warren Buffett. Then when the markets come back, I take the profit from the asset and I pay off the L and I have free assets. So I have cash flow going into assets. Assets appreciate, I buy protection. When everybody runs from the fire, I leverage and I buy the fear. And I repeat the process. And DR is de-risk, I'm always de-risking in economic cycles. When I get paid from high risk, high return dividends, I de-risk out into XRP and Bitcoin. The markets are going parabolic, I de-risk out. Because nobody catches the top and nobody catches the bottom. There's a winner and there's a loser. Trust me. An influencer on social doesn't have the insight. There's a much bigger game playing behind the scenes. 1% will always remain the 1% until you understand how they operate. So I hope this information reaches your heart well. Get your shit together physically, spiritually, and financially. Build the system. Warriors, rise! Get your shit together. Love you.